So the Aegis Vulcan is a sort of starting ship for a bunch of professions that we already have in game, but we only sort of have the end game ships for people to use. So if you're interested in refueling or repairing, you've got the Starfarer and the Crucible. So those are pretty big ships to sort of jump in at if you want to go, oh, today I want to do some repairing of ships. You're looking at these huge ships that have substantial crew requirements and time requirements to get. If you jump in at those and find, well, actually I don't like this, then it's a huge time investment and waste on that. So the Vulcan is sort of the jack of all trades starter ship for those professions. It does repairing, it does refueling, and it does rearming, which is something we don't have in any ship currently. It's a versatile support ship. It's there to support other ships. It's not great at combat, it's not great at transport, it's not great at racing. It's there for helping out with other ships. So if you're that sort of person that is interested in not the more active combat side, but helping others, then this is a really great entry into that, because it does allow you to help out massively for ships that have run out of fuel, ships that have minor damage, ships that have run out of ammo, and any of these ships could be stuck out in deep space and they can call for your help, and you can go out there and give them just enough to get them to where they need to go to. It's sort of like the space AA or AAA for America. You call them up, they give you just enough to get to where you're going, and then you can do your full repairs, rearm, refuel there. So the mechanic for doing the repairing, refueling, rearming is via its drones. So it has 4 drones that are sort of contained within the body of the ship, and then it can launch them out. These drones can do all 3 actions, but they can only do 1 at a time before they have to go back to the mothership to change function, to take on new supplies. So whilst you've got 4 and they can do everything, they can't do it all together, so you can't have 4 out fixing everything at a time. There are only 2 stations to control the drones, so again, it sort of keeps tabs on what it can do. It's a 3-person ship, so you've got 1 person flying and 2 support stations, which would be either controlling the turrets or controlling the drones. So naturally, if you're in a sort of hostile environment, you may not want to have everybody controlling the drones and leaving yourself defenseless. So you sort of got to trade off your defensive capabilities with your support capabilities. So we see probably 2 drones at a time going out at any one time, doing 1 or 2 of those 3 features, and the extra 2 are just there for if you want to quickly change what you're doing. They're all stocked in the ship, ready to go. You can send them out. Naturally, the drones will either stay where you've left them or continue on an AI behaviour, or if you're out for an extended duration of time, you're probably going to start losing these drones. They might get damaged, you might be careless flying them around. If you're trying to repair a ship, you might actually bang into it and destroy the drone. So we felt that if you only had 2 and you can only use 2 at a time, and 1 gets destroyed, that's quite a harsh penalty. You sort of lost 50% of your ability to do anything off the bat. So we've got those extra 2 as sort of redundancies, and allows you to just stay out that bit longer. There's crew quarters in there, so it's not a I've got a mission to go do this item, I've got to go there, come back, because I can't survive out in space. You've got your crew beds, you've got basic living quarters, basic accommodation. So we see people spending significant amounts of time out on these missions, using up their drones, using up their supplies. There's a very small cargo hold to keep supplies in there, which sort of feeds into the drones. If you're carting ammo around, you're not physically carrying ammo boxes to them, they go into the drones do it. There's an extended fuel tank under the body of the ship, which is where the fuel that you're piping to these ships come from, and then the drones themselves do the repair, much like we have in the PU at the moment with the little drones on the cryastro stations where you land, they come out and repair you. It's very similar style to that. So
there's a small crew on this ship, 3 people, pilot, and then 2 support staff basically. And they can basically either control the guns or the drones basically. So I guess, I don't know if you'll have to fight it out over who does what, or if they can, both, I guess, you've got 2 drones on either side of the ship, so I guess possibly one guy could do 2 on one side, 2 on another, and send them off to do their thing. So the ship is, the way it works is, entry is from the rear of the ship, so, you've got a big tailgate that sort of opens up, and that gives you access to the cargo area. And I think it's 12 SCUs that it can hold, and then there's a small elevator that takes you up. It's almost like a mezzanine, and then it takes you to the living quarters, some basic habitation at the rear of the craft. So a couple of beds, the obligatory toilet and shower, food station, a little table. It's very much. It's in the, it's that same sort of style as, it's basically the industrial Aegis, essentially. And so that feeds through the whole of the ship. So there's a lot of, we've taken a lot of what the art team have done when they've been making the Reclaimer and sort of pulled that in and used that and used it as sort of, not a template, but just helped to define the style of the interior. There's 3 liveries, basically, that we've done for the ship. One's more military based, that's one we sort of focused on initially, just to get the ship through the pipeline. And then after that, it was then we had a little, we had more time to then sort of focus on the alternatives. Sometimes the ships sort of fight you back, and you have to, sometimes you just have to, you're like up to 80 iterations before you hit on the shape, before you go to 3D. That does sound a lot, and sometimes that's just the way it is. So on this one, it was a pretty strong start, and like I said, it is the sort of stylistically the baby Reclaimer, and just by its very nature of what it does, the functionality that needs to be in the ship. I won't say it designs itself, but it's close to it. There's a logical route that you want to take, and so. But even still, even though it's a relatively small ship, there's still a lot of interest in the spaces. But I like it. I think it's got a good feel. So I'm looking forward to when this one gets built.
This gives you that taste of those careers, and see whether you actually enjoy doing it, whether you feel it's got a sort of an in-game money-making opportunity enough that you want to do it full-term or full-time as a procession. It's not for everyone, but lots of people just love that support gameplay, and this is really a ship for that.